Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. On today's video, I have a very short, sweet, and simple video for you guys where I break down exactly how much I get paid in dividends from my $30,000 stock portfolio. Now, if you do go ahead and you look on your screen here, last time I made a video like this one was about 5 months ago, and my stock portfolio was sitting at $20,000. Well, as we can see here, since then it has grown pretty dramatically in the last 5 months. My Robinhood portfolio is sitting right around $28,500, and my M1 Finance portfolio is sitting right around $500. Now, I also do have a Fidelity and a Webull account, and those two total up to about another $2,000, but I'm not really considering them for this video because they hold penny stocks, and those are going to be a bunch of stocks that don't pay any dividends, so there's really no point in considering them. So for this one, whenever I do break these down, one thing you will notice is I'm not really a dividend investor. Now, back in the past, whenever I was making a lot of videos about dividends, that was when I was really on that dividend wave. But as time did go on, I realized that my strategy was it was starting to change, and that what I wanted to do as an investor was starting to evolve. And so I kind of took a step back from dividend investing, and I started to focus on things like growth investing, value investing, trading options, and then trading penny stocks as well. It has served me well over time. I think I did make the right choice for me personally, and since then I have started to kind of shy away from dividend stocks. So that being said, my portfolio only contains 4 different stocks that actually pay out dividends, but I would say it's a pretty good amount that I do receive, especially considering dividend investing is not my strategy and all of the money I receive is very passive. So with that being said, the 4 stocks that I hold that pay out dividends are going to be Store Capital, Apple, ARKG, and then my holdings in VOO. So that being said, let's jump over to trackyourdividends.com. Let's take a look at all of the numbers and let's find out exactly how much I get paid from my dividends from my $30,000 stock portfolio. So trackyourdividends.com is going to give you a few different options to kind of get a good idea of all of your holdings. It'll show you your ticker symbol, of course, the shares that you hold, the price that they are at the moment, the average cost that you bought them at, how much you have made or lost from your position, the dividend yield that they currently pay, the dividend yield or the yield on cost that they paid at the time that you bought them, and your annual income. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the bottom and go up from the least that I get paid to the most. Well, the least that I get paid is going to come from ARKG. Now, ARKG is a company that I currently have 5.4 shares in. Their current stock price is sitting at about $88.38. And since I bought them at an average cost of $88.85, I am down about $3 in stock depreciation. Well, since then, the dividend yield has not changed since I bought them. So my dividend yield and yield on cost are both at 0.89%, which leads me to receive an annual income from ARKG at about $4.27. So I know this is not a lot, it's not even remotely noticeable within my portfolio, but I do believe that considering the fact that I bought ARK as, a long-term growth stock, I do believe that it is nice to receive any extra income or any extra dollars, because at the end of the day, an extra dollar never hurts, right? So next up on the list, we have VOO. So whenever it comes to M1 Finance and my holdings in VOO, the reason why the stock charts look like this is because every single week on Monday, I deposit $100 directly into the S&P 500 index, and I don't look at it. I don't really touch it. I don't really change anything about it. I simply just invest that money and I let it go. This is something I plan on doing for the next 10 to 20 years and just simply letting this thing compound over time and really not having to worry about it. I don't intend on ever taking the money out of this. I really shouldn't need to take the money out of it at any given point, and I'm very excited to see how far this thing can go in the next 10 to 20 years. So with that being said, let's see how much it's going to pay out in dividends that will eventually just be reinvested into that fund, and hopefully we do see that compound over time as well. Now, the amount of shares that I have at the moment is about 1.37 at an average cost of $363. Well, since the stock price has appreciated about 5% since then, we see the stock price at about $372. From there, that means my profit is at about $13 roughly, and the dividend yield for the VOO at the moment is 1.45%. Well, since it has appreciated a good bit since I actually bought my shares, my yield on cost is going to be at 1.48%, which leads me to receive an annual income of $7.38. So that's another one. I don't really do anything at all to increase this position. It's not even one of the ones like Robinhood where I have to go in there and I have to manually buy shares. I literally just let it come straight out my bank account. M1 Finance auto invest and I do nothing. So that's like almost as passive as it possibly can get whenever it comes to dividends, and I'm very excited because M1 Finance will also reinvest those dividends and let it compound over time, and I can just sit back and let my money make more money. So next up on the list, we have the second biggest holding that I have in my entire stock portfolio, and this is going to be Apple. Now, Apple is a company in which I have 59.1 shares in at an average cost of $112. Well, since the stock price has appreciated about $15 per share, it's currently sitting at about $127.19. This has led me to receive a profit of about $898, and since the dividend yield at the moment is 0.64%, but it is appreciated since I bought it, my dividend yield on cost is 0.73%. This leads me to receive an annual income of about $48.48 every single year from Apple. Now, I'm very, very happy about that. I know $48 in a broad sense isn't the most, but I think whenever you think about it in a sense that I bought Apple genuinely for the fact that I know it is going to be a stock that is going to grow over time. It's not even one of those stocks where I'm like, I believe it will. No, like I know it will. I truly 100% have the utmost faith that Apple is going to be a stock that continues to see some great growth over the next decades to come. And I would have invested into them if they didn't pay a single dollar in dividends at all. So the fact that I am capable of receiving some passive income from this investment definitely is a good thing. And I mean, $50, hey, free tank of gas and a little dinner or something like that, simply for investing into a company that I have all the confidence in, is definitely a nice reward, and I'm very happy with that dividend. And the big monster of my portfolio, last but not least, we have Store Capital. Now, Store Capital is a real estate investment trust in which I have invested in about 368 shares. The average cost in which I bought them at has been $22.20, and it has appreciated up to about $33.97. So that has led me to see a gain of about $4,334 with that stock appreciation. Now, whenever it comes to the dividend yield, the current yield is at about 4.24%, but since I bought it so long ago and they did not cut dividends at all through the pandemic, I have a yield on cost at about 6.5%, which pays me every single year an extra $530. Now, I guess I am a bit of a dividend investor considering the fact that my biggest holding is a dividend paying stock, but realistically, this is a company that I did not buy simply because of the dividend. Now, at the time that I buy them, I definitely factored it in when comparing them to other real estate investment trusts, but whenever it comes to the overall long-term perspective of this company, I had no doubt in my mind whatsoever that whenever this overcorrection happened, that we would see Store Capital retest some of these highs. I genuinely knew. I was like, that's a big overcorrection. They have very strong fundamentals. The properties in which they own, very strong. The contracts in which they have with their tenants, also very strong and long-term. And so with all that information, I was like, I'm going to load the boat and buy as much Store Capital as I possibly can within the next 3 months. So as we did see, from about May 15th all the way to August, I was just buying as much as I physically could. And that put my average cost all the way down here around this area. So the fact that I can, receive an extra $500, and that was more of a growth play. But the fact that I can now receive about $530 every single year completely passively because I believe that a company had the potential to grow and that I would make money from stock appreciation and be able to receive $530, that's just absolutely amazing. It's a great feeling, and that is one thing that I love about dividend investing. Now, again, I'm not a dividend investor, but I must say that having stocks that do pay out dividends, it's like that extra cherry on top. It's something that's such a rewarding feeling, though, that I can sit back, not do anything here, and make an extra $530 from my favorite stock. So I absolutely do love that, and that brings us to our final reveal of how much I get paid every single year, and that comes out to $590 in annual dividend income. Now, as you can see here, there are a few other statistics which aren't going to be too accurate because I only factored in my dividend paying stocks. So realistically, the dividend yield on cost that I receive is probably somewhere more around like 2% if you factor in the other $10,000 of stocks that I have in other non-dividend paying companies. With that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. As this does change, as I do start to buy more Apple, as my VOO position does increase, as I buy more ARK, I will definitely update you all on how this does, change. Hopefully one day we see that $1,000 a year mark. That'd be absolutely phenomenal, and I will make sure to keep you all as up to date as possible. With that being said, that is about it for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, you can let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. I post on this channel 2 to 3 times every single day, and I'm live at market close every day, Monday through Friday. So come hang out, let's talk some stocks, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Peace.